Aloha and welcome to Mystic Wisdom Dialogues with Wayne Kealohi Powell, broadcasting from the largest ocean in the world in one of the smallest islands in the center, in Kapa'a, Kauai, Hawaii. Welcome everyone, whether you're watching live or you're watching on the replay. I really look forward to these sessions with you. Yeah, every time I get in the ocean, I realize how important it is that we all become responsible for sharing ourselves as love in more ways than we already are. Most of us, are doing a pretty good job. We're doing our best. That's all we can expect. And yet, there's some of us that are aware that we have the ability, capacity to create more miracles. And what is a miracle? I mean, that's the thing, right? I mean, we can kind of feel it in our body when someone is being very kind and generous to us. That's a miracle. We can feel it in our body when we are being kind and generous to ourselves. That's a miracle. Well, I want to read you the first principles of miracles and open that today. Okay, here we go. The first principle of miracles is that there is no order of difficulty among them. There is not harder or bigger than another. They're all the same. And we hear that intellectually and we go, yeah, that sounds true. I mean, but our ego mind is like, oh no, bigger, more better. Bigger, more better. Someone gives us $100 or someone gives us $1 million. $1 million is more better. That depends on how much love it came with. Yeah. And so the second principle of miracles, number 2, miracles in themselves do not matter. They are quite unimportant. Oh, this book is made to blow the ego's mind right out of the water. But the heart hears that and knows that it's true. That's the cool thing about these principles. First principle, there is no order of difficulty among them. One is not harder or bigger than another. They're all the same. Miracles in themselves do not matter. They are quite unimportant. Principle number 3. Miracles occur naturally as expressions of love. There you go. Miracles occur naturally as expressions of love. The real miracle is the love that inspires them. In this sense, everything that comes from love is a miracle. Wow. Let that in. My first thought is a baby being born. And the love, however brief it may have been, or is being born into this world. Wow. This explains their lack of order. This is still we're in Miracle 3, reading onward to the explanations. This explains the lack of order. All expressions of love are maximal. Ooh. Right. This also explains why miracles in themselves do not matter. The only thing that matters is the source. And this is far beyond human evaluation. So love being the source and far beyond human evaluation. Love is just being itself, whether it's spontaneous or, premeditated. Quite often when it's premeditated, it's of the ego, and there's always a return wanting to happen. But pure unconditional love, it doesn't require return. It just is, it thrives, it just glows, it radiates. Even if it's just a thought, a loving thought about someone or about yourself, it still pulsates as a miracle. Wow. Well, I'm not sure if anyone is on today, but if you have any questions, you can type them in the chat, the Zoom chat. I will check that regularly. And being the notices didn't go out today, I'm not seeing anyone on board except for my trusty assistant, Lance. Thank you, Lance, for showing up. Okay. Well, I have had a couple of metaphors to share with you today. I've got this new Uber vehicle. It's fantastic. It's a hybrid and it's also electric. I've had it for a couple months now. And for the first 3 or 4 weeks, I ran the extension cord from my house into the cable that plugs into the car to charge it. And I noticed over the days how the charging that was happening, because the battery shows you when you get in the car how much charge there is, was going down and down and down each day until it wasn't charging at all. And I checked all the cables, and this cable, it had a light, the one coming from the house, 25 feet. On the end, it had a light that's on, meaning it's plugged in. And I plugged the charging cable from the car into that light. So knowing that there was juice happening, the light was on, wasn't charging. So one of my drivers, it came up about, because they had a hybrid electric, one of my riders, he says, hey, have you checked all the cables? I says, yeah, the cables are fine. They're all lit up. And this happens to us in life where we really think, what's gone wrong? We've got everything the way we need to have it. All the signs are correct. Well, he said, you know what? I think you should change that first extension cord coming from the house, because that's what it sounds like to me. The car is not that old, and that cable is secure coming from the car. So I took his advice. I came home, and I took the one cable I had, which is the thickest one, letting me know that it's hot. Took it out, put in another cable that isn't as thick, plugged it in, and it worked perfectly. And I thought for a moment, how many times do we think that we are plugged into the proper source and that we're getting recharged when it's not happening? Yeah, think on that for a bit. Because, we may be meditating, we may be doing yoga, we may be reading the right things, and doing the exercises properly. Yet, are we really feeling ourselves dropped in to the source? Are we really feeling our connection to all there is? Yeah, that's the real question. And until it's a feeling, it's hard for us to accept it. It's kind of like a fantasy. And yet, I tell my students all the time that intention, attention, and flow of imagination combined with will create miracles or manifest whatever you want. So how much source energy are we plugging into every day with the proper cable? Well, it's been working fine for me now. And that metaphor helped me really realize, that all the cables, all the connections in my life need to be checked, including the relationship ones. Am I sourcing from the proper source, divinity from above, in my relationships to light them up, to be kind, to be loving, to be generous, to be compassionate, and yet at the same time impersonal? And if I'm feeling that someone is not reciprocating, does it bother me? Of course it does. I'm human. That's when I have to check the cables of what I'm putting out. Does it have an agenda? Am I invested in this person getting back to me? Or am I just overlighting the relationship with pure unconditional love? Yeah. You should check all your relationships. Check all your cables in this regard. Because if there's a want or a need for someone else to respond, that's ego. Yeah, it's not pure. Nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's very human. Actually, it's very human. But do you want to upgrade? Do you want to go to a higher level of accomplishment in all your relationships? Then you would perhaps watch the pattern that you're running as you offer them yourself, whatever it is. When we give a gift, we expect someone to be thankful. When we send a text, we expect them to reply. Same with an email. Unless you're in business, a lot of people don't reply. But it's a personal email. Then we tend to project upon ourselves if they don't reply, even on social media, So what I'm getting at is, if you tend to all of your patterns when you watch yourself, send a message, send an email, send a voicemail, send a text, watch the pattern of no return. Watch the pattern of the expectation of a return. And you can wait a couple of days, perhaps they didn't see it. But still, there can be an attitude and an awareness that everyone is doing their best, and you don't have to diminish yourself. You don't have to start thinking thoughts about, gosh, they must be angry with me, must have been something I said or something I did or something I didn't do or something I didn't say. All those programs, beating ourselves up, it's all ego. The overlighting of the message sent, the overlighting with unconditional love, that's what you want to do every time you give a gift in any form, a communication in any form. Because why? Because you're giving it to yourself. That's why. Through the principle of oneness, there isn't another. Ooh, that's big. And as I said last week, you are the giver, you are the receiver, you are that which is given. And that is how heaven is moved along. That is how self-responsibility takes place within yourself. Self-responsible for all your feelings, watching the patterns of all your thoughts, watching the patterns. Did you know? What if I told you that a thought never leaves its source? You may have heard that before. Contemplate that for a moment. Everything you think belongs to you. It doesn't leave your mind. It has an energy to it that radiates. I mean, if you're judging someone, they may feel something, but it's not the thought you're having. It's an energy of contraction. You're judging them, and they can feel that you've closed down with your judgment. And this happens a lot in parenting, where the parents are old school of how to discipline the children, get them to do what they want, kind of thing. There's a contraction in there with every judgment. Child knows this. So that's where we learn to contract ourselves when someone tells us we're not doing it right, or we didn't do it at all. Yeah, and you feel that contraction. Doesn't feel like love. Well, we used to call it tough love back in the day, where discipline was way more of a responsibility, it seemed, of the family agenda. Yet children nowadays, they don't want to be told they can't do anything, or they're not doing it right. And the conscious teacher, whether it's a parent or a child, is looking at what's being done and saying, hey, that's interesting. That's good what you did. And yet, if you try it this way, you might get a different response. You see the difference in there? And then you show them another way to do it. Because there's a principle in Huna. There's always another way to do anything. And you hear that, and you know it's true. Yeah. So, let's see here. Yeah, let me check Facebook again, see if anybody has shown up there. On Zoom, I mean. Sorry, we're not on Facebook. Boy, it makes a big difference when she doesn't send out reminders. I know I need reminders for sure for the podcasts that I watch. Yeah. Whoops. Okay, let's see. What else is going on in your world that I can tend to? Yeah, this is something that we all seem to be inside of. Is projections and perceptions. Let's talk about that for a bit. What is the difference between a projection and a perception? Do you have any idea? I mean, some schools would say that every perception is a projection. And that would mean that the ingoing and the outgoing is the same. So in other words, you're perceiving something and it doesn't feel good. So what do? Usually we project on it. Some blame or shame, whatever, It's this person's fault, or, yeah. It's so easy to go there, isn't it? It's someone else's fault, the way I feel. Wow. Well, feelings, where do they come from? Feelings come from programming. Plain and simple. They don't come from someone else. Someone else perhaps has triggered the feeling, yes, but it's your feeling. That's right. It's my feeling. And that's what self-responsibility is all about. And it's the same in the art of Ho'oponopono. So let's look at that for a bit. Because the systems, A Course in Miracles and self-identity, Ho'oponopono, they correlate perfectly as the same principles. And what do I mean by that? Well, the Course in Miracles says, nothing's happening except for this present moment. Nothing ever did happen except for this present moment. That erases all shame and blame and guilt right there. Just guilt is gone. If you could adapt the idea from the Course in Miracles that nothing ever happened in your past. Yeah, huh? Well, the ego is so invested that so much has happened, and I have to hold on to it. This is what creates trauma and the idea that we have to pay with our precious energy for something that we did or said. And then the whole idea of karma sort of embossed that in. The Course in Miracles says, this dream that we're having, nothing's going on here at all. Why? Because it's temporary. The Course, it exemplifies the fact that things that are permanent are real. And so what is permanent in this dimension? Nothing. Exactly. So the dream we're having of the past, it's not real. The dream we're having of the future is not real. And the ego is very offended by these ideas because it's totally invested in moving your past and what worked before into your future in a better way. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it has nothing to do with living in the moment. And Ho'oponopono is exactly the same, because Dr. Hugh Lin, who perpetuated Morna Simeona's system of self-identity Ho'oponopono, he was teaching us to erase the memories of the past. All the hurtful memories need erasing. And how he would do that is, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. From a place of overlighting with the higher self, the intellect and the body, all sharing that thought. That the past that we're holding on to that hurts is toxic. It's easy just to go in, bless it, and erase it. And then we're free of that particular trauma or guilt. Yeah. And blame. Because what I have found in practicing Ho'oponopono, that not only does the past need to be erased in my mind of what I think, of what I project onto the world, onto others. Because when that's done, you're clean, you're free. Yet I also saw the need to erase what I'm thinking everyone else is thinking. That's a really big one. Yeah. Because we beat ourselves up, apparently, through thinking what we know, what someone else is thinking about us. Yeah. It's relentless. It's a relentless nag. But I created a miracle of 17 years where communication was not working very well with my first wife and my 3 sons. And I did what Dr. Hugh Lin suggested. I erased everything I was thinking about them, everything they were thinking about me, and within a couple of weeks, it all went away and communication returned, as if the past 17 years didn't even occur. And there it go, what the Course in Miracles says. Nothing happened. It's nothing. Because it's not real, because it doesn't contain love. It's not a miracle. So in the erasing aspect, using Ho'oponopono, you're actually creating a miracle. Because you're creating a space where love can return in that relationship where there was judgment, where there was condemnation, where there was projection. Yes, where there was guilt. Yeah. When all that's gone, love naturally fills the space and relationships return. I've had this experience with so many clients. Yeah. And that's one reason I wanted to share these mystic wisdom dialogues. To assist as many people as possible to grow on this path of compassionate self-responsibility and engaging in a daily practice that is very, very forgiving. The Course in Miracles states that our purpose of being in a body and having a body is to forgive. Forgive the world, forgive all our projections, forgive ourselves for all of our humanness. Remember, there's nothing wrong with what we do or say or what anybody else does or says. There's nothing wrong. And this is a very hard concept for the egoic mind to get, because there are a lot of really bad, apparently bad things going on in the world right now, where people are being starved and killed. And yet remember, with the overlay, that someday it'll just be written in a history book. It'll all be gone, just like Chernobyl and what happened in any of the wars. You know, it's just history. It's gone. Yet the ego does carry scars through generations, even things like segregation, of cultures. Those scars, even after the laws change, remain for many, many years, That's how slow things move here in this dimension. So you can't really trust this dimension to create a miracle. Because a miracle is actually a holy instant where love has assumed its proper space in you, in me. And therefore there's a freedom of expression of joy and guiltlessness, a freedom of expression of a reborn innocence, a reclaimed innocence. Yeah. And that feels so good. I mean, we know, the miracle is just so present in that. Yeah. So, I acknowledge you for the work you're doing to be more kind and more generous to yourself first, and then with others. And I encourage you to remember and practice daily that you are love in a body. Come on, let's all say that together. I am love in a body. Come on, own it. Come on. Here we go. I am love in a body. Breathe that in. Say it again. I am love in a body. And one more time. I am love in a body. Now, if it helps you, in all my books, I share the process of going vertical with your higher self and breathing love light, whatever you want to call it, la'akea in Hawaiian, the sacred light, into your body as you say these affirmations, these proclamations, I prefer to call them. Let's use the word joy this time and do it again. Breathe in from above, golden white light. I am joy in a body. Ready? Here we go. I am joy in a body. And relax that into your cells. Let's do it again. Breathe it in first. I am joy in a body. One more time. I am joy in a body. Yes, God. All right, let's do it now with peace. Take a deep breath in from above. I am peace in this body. Breathe it in. I am peace in this body. One more time. I am peace in this body. How does that feel? Yeah. These are proclamations, and they happen only in the present moment. There's no past and no future in these proclamations. It's all present now, with you, as you, and for you. And what is it? God, Spirit, Source, Light, Love, Jesus, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't matter, because it is. It's even Christ, if you like. But it's an energy, a qualified energy that creates everything, that has created everything and still creates everything. And the frequency of joy in receiving this offers us an opportunity to be amazing manifestors. Absolutely. Yeah. Gratitude. Yeah. So let's do this meditation again, this proclamation, with gratitude. I am grateful. Close your eyes. Open your crown center. Breathe it in first. I am grateful for my life. Breathe it in from above. I am grateful for my life. Feel the light surrounding you now. Breathe it in from above. I am grateful for my life. And put your hands on your body somewhere and feel the love coming in as you breathe it in again. Thank you, God, for this blessing. And so it is. Wow. Well, I hope you have enjoyed today's broadcast. I don't see very many people asking questions, so I'm going to sign off now because I'm so high. And take this into the world with you. Take this into the day with you, and whatever time you're watching it. If you're watching this replay before bed, take it to bed with you. These affirmations. Just remember, you're not alone. Just remember, you are light. Remember, you are love in a body. And it is God's will for you. Perfect happiness, joy and peace. Thank you guys for allowing me to share this with you. Ahui ho, till we meet again. I bless you, the ground you walk on, the air you breathe, and every thought that you have, may it become more whole and holy. Ahui ho, molama pono.